When I first moved back home, so not even that long ago, like 6 months ago, I was lonely. All my old friends had moved away. I started doing YouTube full time. So I wasn't in like any traditional job. I wasn't seeing people on a regular basis. I wasn't in school, right? I didn't have coworkers or classmates. I was just working. But my work rate was shit. My workouts were shit. It felt like I was living life at 10% because I wasn't sharing it with anyone. It wasn't just the kind of loneliness where I thought, man, I hope my friend's free to do something tonight. It was the kind of loneliness where it was hurting me. It felt painful. There was this pain in my gut. I felt mental stress and anxiety to the point where I would just go into bed and cover myself, like with the sheets, not because I was tired, but because I felt like the most unsafe place to be was my own mind. And there was no running away from that. One of the hardest things I had done in that period was to tell my mom that I was struggling, that I was lonely to the point of being scared for my health. I had to go through this trial of learning how to make friends on hard mode, with no social system of school or work to put me in contact with people every day, no partner to rely on for social or emotional needs, no popping social venues around me for me to hang out at. I had to go through this test of chronic loneliness to figure out how to fight it. And now I'm going to teach you how to do the exact same thing. Because right now, young men are lonelier than ever because of the fact that content and video games makes it so easy to be. It makes it so easy to distract ourselves from the fact that we need real human connection. With these things being so hyper-stimulating, you can forget about it for a time, right? But when you shut it down, when you close your computer, when you lock your phone, it's just you. And you're sitting alone in your bedroom in the same spot you've been in for weeks or months, feeling this emptiness inside of you. Maybe you even feel afraid like I did, but it doesn't have to stay this way. In fact, if you are struggling right now, not only are you going to have the drive to learn how to create rewarding relationships again, but you're going to learn the kinds of skills that make you a social leader. The kind of guy that people look up to. The kind of guy who just brings energy into a room every time he walks in. My name is Luke Grenoble, and you found yourself among a gang of like-minded young men who are no longer settling for the monotony and depression of living an average life. If that sounds like something you want to be a part of, hit subscribe right now. I'm going to explain loneliness to you in a way that makes sense for once and give you the exact steps to go through for you to finally get out of this rut that you've been in and to make the most rewarding friendships that you've had yet. But first, you need to reframe the way that you think about loneliness. First of all, you have to realize that loneliness is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Because what it is it's an indicator that's telling you you need to change your life in some way for it to be rewarding and fulfilling again. You can't get mad at loneliness just like you can't get mad at the check engine light in a car. Something's up with the car, and it's a good thing that check engine light is there because it's letting you know. So loneliness is a good thing. It's here for a reason. It's just telling you you've got to shift direction a little bit. The next thing you need to realize right now is that loneliness is making you a false promise. It promises you that as long as you don't talk to people, you don't get hurt. So you cut out emotional and social ties because of fear. The fear of embarrassment, the fear of judgment, the fear of being found out. To a degree, you were afraid of other people. And you don't think you are, right? I never thought I was. I was in fucking sales. I got rejected on a day-to-day basis. So I thought I was the master at this, bro. I thought I was so good. Like, of course I'm fine to be rejected. But what I didn't realize is it was fine whenever I was using the script, when I was putting on my sales self. But when it came to authentically being me, I was afraid to show that in front of other people because I was afraid that people would call me out, that people would say, you aren't right. Not in a factual sense, but in a sense of being, that I wasn't okay as a person, how I was. And you have some degree of fear of this too, a fear of judgment, a fear of being embarrassed in front of people for showing who you are. And that's okay. That's honestly where most people start. You also need to know that you are chronically lonely right now, not because something's wrong with you, but because you are alienated from yourself. You feel as if you have to hide, like you can't express your true personality around people. This is why you think you just don't get along with people. Because when you aren't you, relationships naturally aren't rewarding. Because you can't be yourself, you can't show who you are and really connect with people. So you don't have the motivation to go out and seek them. But the thing is, you do get along with people because you can feel your body naturally craving it. But you have to show your authentic personality, and that scares you right now. The way to find yourself again is to let go and just lose yourself in doing social activities with other people. Doing enjoyable things with others. Not worrying about how you are acting or how you are being perceived, how you are coming off. Just being present makes us feel incredibly connected. And you get this through working together on some common goal or just being really engrossed in conversation or in dancing or playing games. All of this leads you to taking down your defenses, taking down the walls that you have built up because you have no more need for it. The more you do this, the easier it gets to just be yourself without having your wall up. And I'll tell you right now, the hardest part is going to be the first time you do it. So regardless of how you feel, you have to be social. You have to tell yourself you are just going to do it because your brain is going to rationalize for how you emotionally feel. And it's going to think, I'm too tired. I'm going to go into this social situation and fucking flub it because I'm tired. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. Do it anyway. Because you're going to get into it. You're going to get into the situation. No matter how tough it seems, you're going to fucking do it. And then you're going to realize it's not that big of a deal. It's also really fucking easy because you naturally know how to do it. You're naturally built to do it. It doesn't take effort. And then you start to love it. An easy way to get into this is to develop a skill or hobby that brings other people joy somehow, that increases someone's quality of life, like learning how to be a really good conversationalist, or it could be cooking, dancing, literally anything, bro. Right now, I'm learning pool because there's only really a few things to do around here where I live, and pool is one of them. So I'm learning. I'm going to bring happiness to the people around me, and also, it's just a fun game to learn. Soon, any shame will start to disappear because you'll realize that in general, people are very accepting and kind. And when you start exposing yourself to that more and more, and you become accepted by more people, you're going to start accepting yourself. All right, now I'm going to give you the actual fucking steps to do this time, right? Because you've tried this before. This time, you're actually going to do it, and it's going to work because you're going to have this game plan. So step one is going to be starting conversations. This is going to be with the people who are already around you. You may not be in as dire of a situation where I was, when you literally see no people on a daily basis. And if you are, there's ways out of that too. But start with either your classmates or your coworkers or people who you do see on a regular basis. Start creating conversations with them. 3 a day. 3 conversations a day. And it doesn't have to be huge, especially when you're starting. Take baby steps with this. You can just ask for the time. Pretend you don't have your phone on you. Ask someone what time it is. Once you get good enough at just approaching and asking people a simple question, you can start to ask more personal questions. Hey man, how's the shift going? You look like an older brother. You give me older brother vibes. Do you have any siblings? Stuff like that. And then you get people talking about themselves because people always like to talk about themselves, right? Once you do that, you realize conversation's not that tough. And then you can start speaking about yourself too. Because maybe they're going to ask you, do you have any siblings? But you get used to asking other people about themselves, and you get used to sharing yourself too. So what I want you to do right now, don't be a bitch. Do this right now. Get a sticky note. I don't care, bro. Go find a sticky note. You have one in your house. Go find a sticky note or stick up a piece of paper with tape on your wall that looks like this, right? This is a habit tracker. Just mark off each day of the week that you get 3 conversations a day. What this is going to do is it's just going to get you more used to being in conversation with people again. Next, step 2 is the self-assessment. So write down 3 things and leave space between each of them. First, what do I like? Second, what skills do I have? Third, what do I do for fun? When you have all of these written down, fill in the space below them just by writing the answers to these questions. All right, now turn this piece of paper on the back and then write down your thrive places, which are places you do really well in socially, based off of these things. If you really like pool, the pool hall is going to be where you're really confident naturally. Mine are concerts, coffee shops, house parties, because I genuinely like being a social dude, right? Because I've learned to love it, because I've learned to express myself and show other people who I am. And that makes it rewarding, bro, and really freaking fun. So now I go up to coffee shops and I say hi to people. I go to concerts and I talk to strangers. It's fucking great. Next, step 3 is do area research. So follow local places, bars and coffee shops specifically on Instagram. You can also see if your town or city has an Instagram or Facebook group. You don't have to stay on Facebook, bro. But you can at least check. And then go hang out a few times in your thrive places. Just look for flyers and posters and see what events are happening. And then if you see someone cool who you think you'd like as a person, go up to them and ask them, hey man, what do you do around here? You can literally pretend like you're new to town. I do that all the time. I'm like, hey man, I'm new around here. What do you do for fun? Conversation practice for one. Also, that's a new fucking friend right there. Oh yeah, man. I love going to get coffee on Coffee Thursdays. Bro, let's go to Coffee Thursday together. New homie alert. And again, the hardest thing is going to be doing this for the first time. But you fucking got this, bro. Last step in this is to become a regular. So pick your top 3 events that you found and go to each one. And then pick your favorite out of them and become a regular at it. Just go to it every week or however often it's hosted. If you don't particularly like any of the events, just become a regular at a coffee shop or a bar. And as you see cool people that you think you'd be friends with, literally just walk up to them. Go meet them. Steal my line. I'll tell you the exact line that I say. Hey, you look like someone I'd be friends with. What's your name? That's the way to start a conversation right there. Honesty, authenticity. Plus, that's bold. People are like, okay, cool. this guy is a fucking social leader. You can't wait for people to come to you. You have to be that cool guy who goes up to people and says, hey, this thing is happening on this day, let's fucking go. Because that's what everybody else wants, right? That's what you want. You want some guy to come up and say that to you. But you have to be the guy to make that happen. The whole point of this is to start building community around you, because once you do, you're going to start to realize that you are a social guy. That people are kind and accepting. That you yourself are an acceptable person. More than that, you're a fucking sick guy. And the more you do this, the more you're going to start to realize that. Like this video or save it to a playlist so you can come back to it as you implement each step. And leave a comment and let the boys know how your journey is going, because not only is it going to be hella inspiring for them, but I'm going to get to know you better too. If you want my one-on-one help with social skills improvement, whether you are feeling really alone right now and you want some close friends, or you already have some good friends and you just want to become a fucking social leader, hit the first link in the description to set up a call with me. Act now and become unstoppable.